Good evening and welcome to this edition of Toastmasters Unplugged. I've been here joined by a virtual person with their hand up. So I guess they're going to stay here. I love AI, so let's go with it. Called it Ghost in the Machine. So I'm very excited to be here. This is episode 1 of our Distinguished Unplugged series. This is where we're going to talk to a lot of our newly awarded Distinguished Toastmasters, which is one of the highest accolades in the land of Toastmasters. So I'm excited to be joined by 3 wonderful people this evening. We have John O'Poon. John O'Poon helps experts and leaders overcome fear, self-doubt, and hidden barriers so they can communicate with confidence and show up with authenticity. We have Marion Brennan, who's a life coach, educational trainer, and mindfulness teacher. And we have Larry Lyons, who is experienced in leading teams, problem solving, and negotiating and delivery of results. So we're joined by a wonderful panel this evening. So what we're going to do is we are going to have what's called a quick fire round. Now, I love this because it's very difficult for Toastmasters because they love a beginning, a conclusion, or a middle and a conclusion. But this is like one word. So my first lot of questions are going to require a yes/no answer. So I'm going to go around the room. So first question is going to Jono. Did you ever think you'd actually become a distinguished Toastmaster?
No.
Same question to you, Larry.
No.
And Marion?
Yes.
Oh, very good. Interesting. Would you do another, having done one, and we know how much it entails, would you do another Distinguished Toastmaster Award? Jono?
No.
Larry?
Yes, I would.
Oh, good man. And Marion?
No.
Okay, so we're split on that. Okay, next question. During your journey to become a Distinguished Toastmaster, did you ever think of quitting? We'll start with Marion this time.
No.
Jono?
Yes.
And Larry?
Yes.
Okay, hopefully we'll get to circle back to see exactly what was so daunting in that journey. Next question, and I'm going to start with Larry. Did you complete any project at the last minute?
Speechcraft. Down to the wire.
And Jono?
No.
Good. And Marion?
No.
So everyone was paced except for Larry and his speechcraft. Next question. Did you ever say never again during the journey? So never again to a particular aspect of it. Larry?
Yes.
Jono?
No.
And Marion?
No.
Okay, very good. That's the last of the yes, no's. You're doing very well. So did leadership surprise you more than communication? So I know Toastmasters is all about communication, but there's that leadership side. So Jono, did the leadership surprise you more than communication?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
And Marion?
Yes.
Interesting. We all agree on that one. Okay, now we're going to look for a one-word answer. So just one word, try. If it has to be a couple of words, that's okay. We'll allow it. So first person, Marion, one word to describe your journey.
Long.
It is long, all right. Jono?
Interesting.
And Larry?
Resilience.
Excellent. Okay. One word to describe your biggest challenge. Let's go backwards. Larry?
Speechcraft.
Okay. Jono?
Myself.
Okay, interesting. And Marion?
Pathways.
Oh, don't let the other Toastmasters hear you say that. Now, proudest moment. So one word to describe your proudest moment. Jono?
President Distinguished Club.
Very good. Larry?
Postman. Delivering the award.
Oh my gosh, yes. And Marion?
My club's tribute.
Oh, lovely. Now, Here's an interesting one, a little bit away from the Distinguished Toastmaster. So one word that sums up Toastmasters for you, Larry.
Who? Larry, yeah.
Yeah, Larry.
Addictive. Addictive.
Oh, interesting. Jono.
Fun.
And Marion.
I'd say enjoyable.
Excellent. And we're coming to the end now. So let me see. I have 3 to decide from. One word for how you felt when you received your Distinguished Toastmaster Award. Marion.
Oh, elated.
Jono.
Proud.
And Larry.
I'd use Marion's word, elated as well.
Okay, lovely. Okay, brilliant. Well done. You did really well. There was yes, no's, and there was one word, so no major. We often go off on a tangent, don't we, being a Toastmaster. So what I'm going to do is I am going to remove Jono, and I'm going to remove Marion, and it's just going to leave me and Larry. And what we're going to do, just to explain to everybody listening, just give you a little bit of background. Distinguished Toastmaster Award is the highest award in the accolade, is what we said in the intro, or highest accolade in the land, which is what we said in the introduction. And it's a long journey. There's many, many fences to overcome and challenges. And it really, you know, a lot, as you heard that some people said, felt like giving up. It is a long, long journey. There's one particular aspect of it, which is a project. So it's a project that you devise yourself, or it's a project that maybe somebody wants you to get involved in. So that's what we're going to talk about first of all. So Larry, what was the project that you chose for the Distinguished Toastmaster Award?
Thank you, Olga, for that question. Yes, my project was setting up a hybrid club because we had COVID and we went online. And during that time, we got many members from a distance away. So the choice then was it to go back in person or what would we do? And I felt the need to accommodate those that had kept our club afloat. So I decided to investigate the hybrid system, and that was my project. Yeah, setting up a hybrid.
I remember all the hybrid clubs and the online clubs. How on the tech side, because hybrid, it's great when you're there in the room and it all looks so easy when somebody knows what they're doing. But I know it's very difficult. It's a matter of somebody coming early, setting it all up, becoming very, you know, it's that seamless experience and it making those people online feel part of the room. How did you overcome those challenges?
I hadn't a clue about tech really. I was poor in tech. I could turn on my laptop. I could do Word and documents and Excel, etc. But when it came to Zoom and that, so when we were online, I attended a training that D71 provided in relation to becoming a Zoom master. So first I got proficient at that. And then when it came to the hybrid stuff, I started looking at Googling stuff and finding out how it could be done. And then I found a contact down in Limerick who was quite good at providing information in relation to what equipment I would use. So setting up a committee then, my leadership committee, we all had various jobs and we invited that person then to our first test of the hybrid system. And it was through him then that I learned the skills required to run it myself. So it wasn't easy at the start. We had hiccups. We had times when we would be cut off and maybe the system wouldn't work too well. But over time, we got rid of all the issues we had, and now it's running quite well, actually. And I'm very proud of that achievement, that we're a successful hybrid club. That's brilliant.
Can I ask what the name of the club is?
Roscrea Speakers. Yeah, we're right here in the middle of Ireland, in County Tipperary. Yeah.
That's excellent. So how old is the club now? How old is the club?
I'm there since it started. We started in 2007. And a man called Sean Dewan was the man that started our club. And I owe a lot to Sean as to where I am today. And I think I'll be mentioning him before the night is out as well, because terrific man. And, yeah.
There is those people who just, you know, you kind of have that chemistry with, and they just help you, and they're part of that whole journey and part of the successes that we celebrate. So is that club still hybrid? So it has to this day, it remains hybrid. That's brilliant.
Yeah, we're hybrid ever since, and we have 5 or 6 members that come online. And the great thing about hybrid is, if you're coming home late from work and you can't make the meeting, you can pop on Zoom and join in. And I think that's terrific. And then you have people that are minding kids at home as well, so they can put them to bed, maybe keep an eye on them, and turn off the camera if they have to go and mind the kids. And so it's accommodating everyone. And I think in our world we're in today, Olga, a lot of interviews are done now, because I do interview preparation, another skill that I've acquired with Toastmasters. I prepare people for interviews, and a lot of them are online.
Yeah.
So our members can hone their skills online as well in Zoom, and get proficient at when it comes to an interview and that. So that's the great. I know it's not easy. You need a team as well. We have a team set up now. I was doing it all for a long time. I said, no, I have to delegate. So I have 4 people now trained up to run it if I'm not there.
That's brilliant. No, it's amazing. And you're right about that online piece, because even I know in my work, I present online and it's a different experience. And you want to, I'm always afraid it's death by PowerPoint. So I try to, just make it a little bit easier. It's great. You can practice in a Toastmaster club an online presentation, because you get all this feedback, and if it's really bad or if it's really good. Now, Larry, what I really want to ask you about, because Larry is the champion of the parliamentary system. Well, in District 71, I call you the godfather of parliamentary procedures. To me, when I heard about it, it's like, oh my God, that sounds so boring. But it's incredible. It's actually really interesting. And it turns those, I'm sure most of us know those really boring meetings that go on for hours, you've achieved nothing. This is where it's parliamentary procedures turns that on its head. So was that part of your project at all?
No, I tell you how I came to be parliamentarian. Gerard Mannix, who was a divisional director at the time, he later went on to be a district director, and he was up in Roscreator Club on a divisional visit, and I that night happened to give a presentation at the club, and we had some guests there, and he came to me afterwards and he said, would you like to be a divisional director? So I did that on him, and I remained in contact with Gerard for a number of years. And then he became district director, and he rang me up in 2019. He said, Larry, would you be interested in being parliamentarian? And now I had a background in working for being a chairperson of a union group, Department of Agriculture, Agri number 1. There was a branch of Forza, the union here. It was originally called Impact. And I used to chair meetings, and I saw some terrible stuff going on. So Gerard rang me and he said, would you become a parliamentarian? I'll leave it with me, I says. And I looked up the word parliamentarian, what it was all about. And I said, yeah, I'll give it a crack. And I bought the books in Robert's Rules of Order, start reading them, and I got really, and what bugs me is when I go to a meeting and it goes on too long, there's no structure, that just annoys me. Maybe I'm just a picky old guy, but so then I read the books, educated myself, and then I started training people in Division or District 71 and Region 10. And I just love to see people leave the training a better person and saying, thank you very much, I learned a lot there. So it might be a boring subject. However, if you run your meetings as per parliamentary procedure, your meetings won't be boring.
Yeah.
And I would encourage people.
Go ahead, Larry. Oh, Larry's frozen. Just while he's frozen there, it's amazing, because I now, whenever I'm running meetings, we have a definite structure. It works out really well, and we finish on time, and definitely we're all going away with something. But it's really, there is a structure to learn, and it is wonderful. And I was always selling it going, oh, this is so boring, but it's really, really good. Larry, you back?
Back, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Good.
Yeah.
I was filling in while you were. I can hear you fine. Can you hear me good?
I can indeed, Jess. Can you hear me?
I'm just going to say hello to. Yeah, I can hear you fine. I'm just going to say hello to Elizabeth Jordan, who's tuning in, one of our regular listeners and a great member of District 71. So you're very welcome, Elizabeth. Elizabeth knows Larry as well. Now, before we're just coming up to the finish of our little one-on-one, Larry, what I want to ask you is the hardest part of the distinguished Toastmaster journey. So I know you said speechcraft was the thing you did at the last minute. Was that the hardest part, or was there another piece that was really just the difficult part of the whole puzzle?
Well, when I started out originally, you don't really think of DTM. And it was far from my dreams, really. But then as I went along and I saw the benefit that Toastmasters gave me was a spur that I needed to continue on that pathway, because it started impacting my performance at interviews. I used to come in last at interviews, and all of a sudden, because of my communication and leadership skills I had learned, I started improving and topping the interview lists. So that's the power of Toastmasters. However, the DTM manual, there's some major projects. And I think back in 2014, I was divisional governor, it was called at the time, organizing a divisional speech contest. That was a fair challenge now, because you had no WhatsApp, remember, back then. Yeah, and you had to send stuff by emails, and some people didn't read their emails. So you had a lot to do yourself, and you had to make phone calls and try and get people, and then organizing a venue. And then I remember the venue down in Limerick we organized for the speech contest. And I got to pay a couple of contacts down there to set up everything. And I remember one day I was coming up from Shannon. I called into the hotel and I said, I met the manager, and he said to me, I said to him, I'd like to see the room and all that. And it was perfect. And I just said to him, by the way, is there anything else on here on next Sunday? Because we have a speech contest and I'd want the place to be fairly quiet. Oh, he said, there's a First Holy Communion on, he says. I red flag straight away. I said, no, that won't work for us, because there'll be kids running up and down the corridor. He says, hold on, he says. And he brought me to another room in the back, an even better room again. And he said, we'll put you in here. So that was organizing a contest back then. It was tough. I think it's easier nowadays, I think, because you can have Zoom calls with your group as well. So that was a challenge.
No, I can imagine, because you're right. It's so much easier now. You've Zoom groups. We all have our WhatsApp Zoom groups. You have to keep, for people who aren't Toastmasters, keep lots of people see. The judges cannot be seen by the contestants. It's all very secret. And it's just so easy to do that in that, that virtual space we use now. So that's brilliant. So listen, Larry, thanks very much. And I just want to show, Elizabeth has mentioned that you are highly regarded in Region 10, not just District 71, Region 10, as an exemplary parliamentarian. So I would think you're going for the global market. So I expect the next comment will be, is Toastmasters International exemplary parliamentarian. I don't think you have any competition there. So go and claim that accolade. Okay,
I'd like to thank Elizabeth for doing kind words, and she's a wonderful person as well, and she put the skids under me as well many a time. So thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah.
Yes, we all love Elizabeth. She is amazing. Now, if I can see, we've been joined by our wonderful technician in the background in the green room, Brian Green. Brian, can you take Larry off the stage and bring Marion up, please? And does he have the power to do this? No, he doesn't. So I'm going to bring Marion up. And Larry, we shall see you later. You can relax in the green room. Marion, how are you? I'm
good, Olga. Thanks very much for this opportunity.
Not at all. No, you guys have worked so hard, and I haven't really, as I explained to all our listeners, this is an incredible journey. We all try it and we all get stuck. I'm trying it and I'm stuck in one bit, but these guys have achieved it, and it's an amazing experience. So Marion, I'm going to ask sort of similar questions. I wanted to look at the DTM project, because that's kind of the sort of the personal bit that we bring. What was your, what project did you choose or invent or create?
Well, the project that I did, I was very, very lucky that Danny Banks came at the time and asked me, would I do the coaching chair in 2023 for D71. And it was a very strange time, because we're coming out of COVID, And some of our clubs were decimated. Some of them are, as you know, some clubs went very successfully online, and that was great. And it was, I mean, I think that was the most amazing time where we got to go to visit places all over the world and meet new people. I think it was fantastic. But that takes a huge skill to be able to set up your Zooms at that time, because we weren't au fait with it. But many clubs didn't do that, and their doors closed. So the project basically was looking at the clubs that were 12 and under and trying to bring them back, getting them a coach. Now, it was a time where for these clubs, most of them, the coach would have to go in person. So you had to get a coach that was going to be near enough to be able to go and, you know, have the skills and, but, you know, make that commitment to go, because now you mightn't have to go as often as a coach, but at that time you were really trying to bring them on and build them up again. So I had a committee of about 6 people, and they worked with me and worked with the coaches. So if the coach, or worked with the clubs as well, coaches and the clubs. And if they had questions or they wanted help, my committee were there in the background and they worked with them. So it was a hard time. It was a challenging time, but it was a very rewarding time. So now we see, you know, because of those wonderful coaches that stepped up and really worked hard, they brought those clubs on, and we have them today, and they're thriving on now.
That's brilliant. And is that group still going, the coaching group?
Not for me. That was, I did it for the year. There was a lot of work involved in it, because you had to get the commitment from the clubs first. You know, we'd approach them. You have 12 or under 12 members. You know, we can get you a coach for the 12. You know, if we have 12 members. And then you had to get all the forms signed, you know, signed by the VP of Education, the president, get them off to Toastmasters International, get everything, all the paperwork back. The coaches were approved, you know, like the club would want the coach, then find the coach. It was just a huge amount of work, but it was great. I learned an awful lot from that now, I must say. And it was an old difficult time, because you know yourself, just as we were coming out of COVID was really a hard time, you know, because we're in no man's land at that point, you know.
Yeah, no, it is. And yeah, it is difficult. And you know what you said, that you learned a lot. I think it's when you're working with a group of people and you have to get used to all their style. You're leading them and you have a certain way of doing things, but it's understanding and giving them the space, even though it mightn't be your thing. And I imagine that would probably be, because we asked that question, were you surprised about the leadership you learned? So did you find that that was an important part of that whole piece?
I found it was huge learning in that, because, you know, you were dealing with so many people, you know. Again, you got the coach, you had your own team, you were dealing with the people in the clubs. Maybe they would come back to you, they wouldn't come back to you, they mightn't come back to you for a month. You know, this was going on, and there was this element of frustration. And I know I had to keep myself in check, because if I say I'll do something, I'll do it. And that's just it, you know. And I suppose my family would laugh and they'd say, yeah, that's you, Mum, okay. But like, you had to understand that people had lives and they had other things to be doing, and they couldn't be just jumping at forms and sending them back to me straight away. So I learned a lot about my leadership skills, and I learned, you know, that you just have to give people space as well. Be patient, be there, be the support for them, but, you know, understand and be patient for them, you know.
Yeah, and I think, because I'm like you, I'd be like, oh my God, I've sent this email and it hasn't been answered in like 2 hours. I think we have to remember that, you know, it's a voluntary organization. For those who are listening who are not familiar with Toastmasters, it's voluntary. So you kind of have to say, well, you know, the busy lives, the family, professional, and Toastmasters is this kind of fun space. We don't want to make it a non-fun space. But talking about fun, Marion, leads me on to my next question. What was the most fun part of your DTM journey, or the fun project, or, you know, what was that piece you went, geez, I want to do that again? That was great.
I think I was one of the founder members in Molly Malone's, so I was their like the sponsor and a mentor, whatever, for the club. And I think that was great to see a club rise from the ashes, and just form into a really, really good club. That was one thing I really enjoy. I felt I put my heart and soul into that to get that up and running, and it was fun. It was great because we like, that's the one thing I suppose about Toastmasters in general. I find meetings great fun. I love when it's fun, and there's a bit of laughter and a bit of banter with people, and I really, really enjoy that. So I think I'm blessed with both of my clubs, because I'm Phoenix Tower in Dunboyne and Molly Malone's online one, and we really do have a lot of fun in our meetings. So.
Yeah, no, I've attended Molly Malone's, and I must say it is fun, and I'm giving it a plug. Very good. We very interesting. So it's certainly a different style. It's all about evaluation and giving that quality, becoming a sort of stellar evaluation. Yeah. So we're different, very different to the normal Toastmasters. And we've Elizabeth Jordan that has a message for you, Marion. She says, District 71, which is the district we all belong to, has benefited greatly from the leadership of Marion. So wonderful.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Appreciate that. You've been a great support, always in the background.
I know. And listen, my last question then is the other side of the coin. What was the hardest part that you went, don't want to do that again? Might have learned a lot by it, but steer clear.
Well, I just want to clarify, because I said pathways. Now, to be honest with you, I think the learning in pathways is amazing. I think it is immense. But I found like when you're doing your DTM and you have to complete 2 paths. And I suppose I was lucky enough that I was in the 2 clubs, so I could get speaking slots. But it was to get speaking slots and get those, I think we all, I was stuck on level 3 for my second path for so long before I got there, and I was saying, oh God, I have to get this now. And every time I think I'd something done, I'd have to go back and say, oh no, you haven't, you've more to do here, you've more to do. But like probably getting through all the speeches in pathways, because there is so much learning. There's no point in, I feel, there's no point in flying through pathways, because you'll miss out on that learning. There's a huge amount of learning there. And I think it's really, if you give it the time. But when you're trying to get the DTM finished, I'm a Toastmaster since 2012. And I didn't think about, for a long, long time, about DTM. And then suddenly it came on my radar. God, I have done a lot. I've been Division C director in 2021. And I have a lot here now that I can put towards it. And then I got really excited about it, and I was dying to get it finished, and to get there. But like I suppose when I started off, and the first 2 years, it would have been the furthest thing from my mind. But as soon as I got involved with division and realized the leadership was there, I really wanted to get it under my belt,
Yeah, it is one of those things that you hear about and you go, oh God, I'm not doing that. And then suddenly somebody has a word in your ear and you're going, And as you said, you're starting doing all these projects and it kind of gets its own feet and runs away. So that's super. But Marion, that's us done for the moment. We're going to bring you back during the group discussion. So I'm going to bring Jono up now, who's been waiting patiently backstage.
Thank you.
Hi, Jono. How are you?
Hi, Yoga. Awesome. Thanks. How are you?
I am good. So now finally, after sitting through very patiently, trying to get your story out about the Distinguished Toastmaster Award, I'm going to ask you as well, what was the project you did for your award?
My project at that time was organizing online speech contest. It was during the pandemic, and I was also the area director for Area 44 at the time. So we were bringing everyone for the first time online, all 6 clubs from Area 44. So that was an interesting period of time.
Yeah. How did it go? Like nowadays, I love online contests. As Brian Green, who's in the background, he knows, he was organizing one, said, oh, please, can I do one? I want you to spreadsheets and all that. I imagine it was a lot harder at the beginning, like how do you do this? Like, what was the hardest part of that?
I think the hardest part was trying to make sure everyone was comfortable running the contest, because we still run the online contest as if we run it offline. And it was like everything's still timely, everything's still very strict and very rigid. So it's trying to convert everything we did offline onto online. Then we have to follow the new processes that was being put into place, a lot of procedures. Then we had the Zoom masters who was organizing, facilitating all the breakout rooms. I don't know how they did it, but those were the amazing facilitation at the time, especially when it comes to just like putting people in and out of contest. It was just a very interesting time.
And did you ever we had ones where the judges would get lost. They just, the whole contest would stop for hours because there's a judge missing. We don't know where he is. We don't know where his results are. It would just go on. Yeah, it certainly throws up a lot. But as I said, I think it's got a lot easier now. It's probably easier than in person because you don't have to organize a venue and get people physically near the place to get involved. So my next question, Jono, to you is, what did you love most about doing the Distinguished Award? Was there something that stood out for you that you said, this is the best?
It's the people. It's the people I met along the way, along this journey. It's been, I think, over 9 years now that I've been part of Toastmasters. It's the people I meet at club, at area, at district, at leadership, everywhere. Every people I meet, I've always get to learn something new. So I think the people that makes it the most fun.
Yes, and I think anyone listening is not a Toastmaster. The people in Toastmasters are just wonderful. It's like family without the baggage. So to say, you go to the conferences and you walk in and you know everybody there, and you meet new people, and it's that networking and all from different walks of life, but having this common goal of growth and achievements. Talking about growth, Jono, do you feel the whole journey changed you as a leader?
Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't be the leader I am today without a lot of the training and experiences that I've got through Toastmasters. A lot of the opportunities from building teams for speech contests, organizing events, going to different club events, speech contests, for instance. But I think that journey just teaches me a lot in terms of becoming a club president for Advanced Club, being an area director, being a committee member, and just being a normal member. When I first started, it was for overcoming the fear of speaking.
Yeah,
I was such an introvert that my whole fear was being in front of people. I'm a digital marketer as my background, so I've been doing digital marketing for the last 15, 20 years. And so all of my work is behind the screen. So I didn't have much communication skills in terms of presenting to cameras. I was always behind the systems, the processes, hiding behind the background, doing the reports, the analytics, the content. It was very rarely that I had in contact with people where I had to present like this. If you used to told me, Jono, present online, do a interview 10 years ago, I'd be like, no way. That's not who I am.
Yeah. But that's changed now. Like, I imagine if anybody, your first hand up. Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible because it is. I mean, I think originally everybody joins because they want to either improve their speaking skills or they want to they just hate it so much. And it's that practice. You get to practice everything. And then, as they say, practice makes perfect. You go out into the real world and you're able to do it. And as you say, you've changed, you've grown, which is really, really important. And can I ask you, what was the highlight of the whole journey? Like, what did you absolutely love?
Whole journey, I loved the whole journey, to be fair. Like, I wouldn't trade anything or give up anything for it, because it was that journey that made me who I am today. And it's that, like you said, that growth and development, the time and effort you put in. At the end of the day, you get what you put in. And I think for Toastmasters, I put a lot in, so I got a lot back. And I just remember my first table topics. I think I was on stage for about 10 seconds, and then I just brushed off. And for those that don't know what table topics is, we stand on stage in front of everyone and present or answer a topic of choice that's been given to us. But I was on stage, and I think I was like 10 seconds in, and then I walked straight off. But what I found most fascinating was everyone was giving me a round of applause. I was just like, but I just spoke for less than 10 seconds. Why are you giving me a round of applause? But it's that encouragement from everyone that was like, well done for stepping up. And at that time, I was just like, fear, anxiety. My head was just negative self-talk, was like, oh, you messed it up. Why did you even go up there in the first place? You could have been better. But all I got off stage was round of applause, encouragement, people giving me feedback, positive feedback, and said, hey, try again next time, and try doing these, or take a few deep breaths, and loads of different tips. And I was just like, wow, this place is amazing.
Yeah, no, it is amazing. And I hear you. Table topics, I still hate it. I've been in Toastmasters about 6 years. I still hide very carefully behind the person in front of me so the topics master can't see me. But it is, and it's incredible though. I remember answering one, it was absolutely woeful. My first speech was horrendous. And people coming back and saying, you can improve it this way. It was really well done. And what I love about Toastmasters, I think this sums it up, is you're celebrated, never tolerated. And it's just, it's fabulous. For those of you who are not Toastmaster, check it out. Now, having you said you loved everything about it, is there any little piece of that district Toastmaster, or the distinguished Toastmaster journey that you went, never again? I can't do that again. It was great. I learned a lot, but don't ask me again.
I think the challenging time was the area director, but that was online. So that was different from what it would probably be offline nowadays in the real world.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was something about the area director that I think maybe it was managing the 6 clubs, maybe it was managing all the different personalities and leadership. And again, that's the test of leadership, isn't it?
Yes.
Is working with conflict, resolving conflict, and managing that kind of teams, especially when those who I think that's just part of leadership. I suppose it wouldn't something I wouldn't do again, but it would be interesting to do again. Yeah.
You've got the experience. You can do an in-person one now. it's all back. Then you have to travel. It's like the drama of, oh gosh, which way shall I go? What's the best, least traffic? But yeah, no, that sounds fabulous. I'm just going to share a few of our listeners. We have somebody all the way from Southern California. This is Kathy. So you're very welcome, Kathy. She enjoys our LinkedIn presence and postings. Thank you so much. We have Melissa, who is thanked us for all a lovely event and very informative, and a lovely compliment about you from Elizabeth Jordan yet again, Jonna. She says she's seen your leadership in action and great job. So yes, that's what we always celebrated. And as you see, you've grown, and it is good. It's not just people saying it. You learn, and it's fantastic, and you take it out into the real world. So Jonna, listen, thank you very much. I'm going to keep you on stage, and I'm going to bring back Larry, and I'm going to bring back Marion for our panel discussion. And if I can say to any of our people listening online, please submit your questions, because we have all these wonderful distinguished Toastmasters here. And we would love, they would love to hear your questions, and they'd be delighted to answer them. But while we wait for all those questions to come, I have prepared some in advance, like Blue Peter. Here's what I prepared earlier. So my first question, and I'm going to give it to Larry, since you've been languishing back in the green room for the longest time now. So how has doing this Distinguished Toastmaster Award raised the bar for you personally or professionally?
It has raised the bar in so many ways. Like, I joined Toastmasters because I had a fear of public speaking. I was a shy kind of a person. People saw potential in me. They were asking me to do various roles, and I turned them down because I hated sitting in front of people, chairing meetings, etc. But then once I got up and going, I saw the benefit of Toastmasters. And along the journey to DTM, I had to do an awful lot of projects. I was leading projects and leading teams. And it gave me a great understanding of how people think and how everyone is not the same. We're all different in each and every way, and how you can handle people in pressure situations. So that was wonderful training for me. And suddenly my career just took off. I mentioned earlier about doing well at interviews. I came first in one panel, and a year later I came fifth in another. And I climbed the career ladder in a space of 5 years. I shot up 3 or 4 levels. And every time I went for an interview, I brought Toastmasters into it. And I would say how I organized an event. Say I was on about the divisional contest earlier on. And I'd link in them things, even though they wouldn't ask you directly. Indirectly, I used to bring them in. And next thing they'd ask me about, oh, well, what pressure or how did you deal with such a problem, or what problem did you encounter when you were doing your projects? So I would advise anyone to use your Toastmasters journey at an interview. You can bring it in indirectly by having it on your CV. So it empowered me as an individual in my job. And also the training that I do for parliamentary procedures, in workshops, I had to train people at work as well. So I had the skills of Zoom, I had skills of troubleshooting my workshops in parliamentary procedures and improving each time I gave a presentation. I brought that right into the workplace. And wow, I remember getting feedback on one of the presentations that I gave at work, and they said, that was the best training that I have received. One person said this to me, that I have ever received. So it elevated my abilities. My bosses could see how well I was doing. And as a result, then I was able to perform in at interviews as well. So anyone out there, and there might be guests here, and there might be people just starting on their journey, what I would say to them is this: don't give up. Sometimes you might say, I feel like quitting, or this is not working for me. I can guarantee you that it's the best thing out there to get you to where you want to go. Toastmasters. Look, I hear some negative stuff about it, but to me, it's not negative. The negativity comes from the people and individuals themselves. This is a wonderful, wonderful organization. It's so powerful. I just, Lord, I could write a book, and I think I might.
I think you should. I think you should. It is, I think everybody describes it's like a game changer, whether it's in your personal life, particularly your professional life. And Marion, did you find it, it's journeyed across to help you in your professional life and your professional undertakings?
Absolutely, Olga. I left, the corporate world in 2013, and I knew I was going to start my own business, but yet the confidence wasn't really there. And I knew so I gave myself a kind of a time plan to get there. So over 2 years, I was training and building and working and adding stuff all the time before I became the life coach. And then I did a lot of motivational speaking and a lot of my own training sessions. Now, I would never, ever have been able to stand up and have the confidence to do what I did only for Toastmasters. Like Larry has really said so much about it. I feel exactly the same, and I never fail. I know probably I give my family a pain listening to it, but I am a passionate Toastmaster, and I never fail when I'm coaching people, especially young people. You'll go into places, I tell them, you'll have to present, you need to think on your feet. You'll be at meetings where you could be stuck for an answer go to Toastmasters, join a club and learn, because you're doing it in such a safe environment. You're doing it as Jono said, look at the way the people clapped for him after the 10 seconds and they encouraged them. And that's what you get everywhere. And, you know, if you could bottle some of that and bring it into other areas in life, it would really be great. But I would never have got where I am today. I could stand up and speak now anywhere, but it's only because of Toastmasters.
No, that's wonderful, Marion. And I'm going to go bring that question to Jono. You know, you work with leaders and getting that authenticity. And, you know, obviously this Toastmasters has helped you with this journey that you're on out in the real world. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I just want to touch upon a point on Elizabeth saying that my leadership in action has been great. But Elizabeth has been an inspiration for me along my journey as well. So I'd like to thank Elizabeth for that. She has shown a lot of leadership skills in you know, not directly to me, but just indirectly when she's doing her own thing, when she's running her teams and running her events and things like that. Just it shows, and it has a positive impact on us as well when it comes down to that. So for Toastmasters, for me, it was, I would never become the speaker and the leader I am today without it. Toastmasters give me that safe platform where I get to share my stories, my experiences, my challenges. It's also given me that confidence where I can take this into the real world and get paid to be a speaker, to be a presenter, to be a facilitator, to be a trainer. And I wouldn't have been able to do any of that without the training and the challenges and experiences I had throughout Toastmasters, because it's been such a safe learning environment where I get to fail and make mistakes, but I get to learn from it and then put it into the real world where I would probably make less mistakes.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. Yeah, as that sounding board, you know, as that as you said, that area to fail. And it's funny, we all think of fail. God, no, we want to stay away from that. But it's really important, isn't it? John, when you say that, it's really important to fail and learn, because that's where that learning and that growth happens.
I think all my speeches has been my testing experiments. Anytime that goes to speech contests, to normal speech, for your pathways, everything has been an experience and a test of seeing what works and how I can improve in telling a story, how I craft my speeches, how I do the structure of my talks. All of this wouldn't have happened, and I wouldn't be able to learn any of this without Toastmasters.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And it also looks at time, rather than those boring death by PowerPoints I referred to earlier in the program, it also, you know, bringing the storytelling piece, you know, how to resonate with your audience. It's incredible. And I think all our three panelists tonight have sold it so well. So anyone listening, just check out Toastmasters. It is a game changer. Now we have, first of all, just want to mention Tarek. He has thanked us for hosting this insightful and informative event. So thank you for joining us. And please, if you have any questions, please post them and we will share them with our panelists. And Elizabeth, our cheerleader, she has a question, and it's all about whether you had a mentor during your distinguished Toastmaster journey. So Larry, did you have a mentor?
Yes and no. I suppose when I started out my journey first, Sean Dewan was my inspiration.
Oh.
Because I remember making the first phone call in relation to an ad I saw for advertising a new club starting in Rossprey. And I made a phone call, and Sean Dewan was at the other end, and he answered. And his friendly voice and the way he just answered the phone convinced me to go to the first meeting. And throughout that year, then I became president. Then the club was about 6 months in, and next thing it was chartered in May, and I became president. He says, you cannot say no in Toastmasters. So I became the first president, you could say, on the 1st of July that year. But Sean was a great inspiration to me. But Elizabeth is here now, and I remember when are you doing that speechcraft? She keeps saying to me. And she put the gun to my head, really, and she got me over the line with that. She was now another person. Now I was down the time I was running for division director. I was down in Cork at a conference, and I gave my few words about to go up and speak why we wanted to be the divisional governor at the time. And there was a guy there, a guy called Ted Cochran. Now, you all know Ted. And Ted just said a few words to me when I came off stage, and he met me outside afterwards. I know what he said to me. He says, "You'll go a long way in Toastmasters." That was back in 2013 or thereabouts. And I looked at him and I just shook my shoulders like. But that stuck with me for many a day. Just to hear Ted saying, a man of his stature like. And then I always say, them nuggets of evaluation and feedback and encouragement are great for people. And I have also my club as well. I must compliment my club. I'm in Roscrea now since 2007, and there's wonderful people there that have evaluated my speeches, evaluated my performances, and corrected me a few times when I might have done things differently. And I have got to mention Toastmasters for Golf too, another wonderful club that I'm involved in. And I'm learning from all of them people. And so there's a lot of people out there indirectly mentoring you. And these are the people you can ring up, because I've made a lot of contacts now through Toastmasters in District 71, Region 10 and worldwide. And if I have a problem, I can ring them up and say, how do I get out of this? And that's the wonderful thing about it. You're networking all the time. There's people out there with so much knowledge that they'll share with you. Yeah. And don't be afraid to make that call if you're in a spot or in trouble.
Yeah, and everybody.
Yeah, on this.
And everybody's so kind. I mean, people share. They even volunteer to share it before you even think, I need help. Somebody's there going, I can help you with that. Marion, anybody mentor you on the journey?
Very like Larry, really. I hadn't got a mentor per se, but I had like that. I was a division director Division C director in 2021, and it was, I mean, that was a baptism of fire, because it was the start of COVID, and we were we all went online. But if I want to say something now, apart from a mentor, I would say to people, please don't be afraid to step up. Don't be afraid to step up to be an area director or to be a division director, because I know the friends that I made that year are still today the friends I can lift the phone and talk to or ask for advice. They were absolutely amazing. We were all like, the swans gliding along, and we were going frantically, or the ducks under the water, trying to get to know what we should have been doing at that time. But it was the support that we gave each other from right across the whole District 71. I mean, there's people I can contact anywhere. I'm thinking of, Liz Walsh and Paula Manny and all these people that were there at that time. We were all learning, but it was absolutely brilliant. But I do think I would really like to say to people, I mean, part of your journey of your DTM is to take on like an area director or division director, and like, don't be afraid, because there's people there to support you. So I would never say to anybody there isn't work in it, because there is, but there's also huge learning. But it also depends on how you put a team behind you when you're doing it. If you have a good team with you that you can call on for help to help you out doing it, it'll be a brilliant year. The learning in it will really be amazing. So not only the learning, but the making of friendships for that year that you'll give to area director or division director will always stand to you.
Yeah, no, that's marvelous. And I think most of us have, we've all people here have done one of those roles. And I must say, yes, it was really rewarding. And the challenges were great. Once you got over them, you went, oh my God, that's brilliant. Yeah. And again, that leadership, it's that opportunity to be a leader, because I know a lot of people in their work, they don't often have that opportunity. They might work, as I think you're a mindfulness coach, life coach. So it is great. Yeah. John, would you like to answer that question as well? Or would you like a slightly different one?
No, I'd love to answer this one. My mentor is Carla Flynn. She has been an absolute rock star for me from when I first started Toastmasters. I think a year in after I joined, I probably didn't show up for about 9 months out of that period. But after the 9-month period, when I started showing up again, I asked her to become my mentor directly. So then she's been encouraging me, supporting me the last 9 years now of my journey. Every time I'm kicking and screaming, she'll just drag me along. And I always find myself better than I was. And I think this is part of the journey where this fearful, shy, introvert kid that doesn't want to be seen or heard is starting to be seen and heard by the world. And it's a very scary thought when you are at a place where you didn't have these skills, didn't have these training to be able to do what I do now because of that. So I'm very grateful for Carla's perseverance and her encouragement, her love, her support. She is literally like a mom to me because she has held me, stood by my side whenever I'm kicking and screaming, when life got bad. There's times when I wanted to quit Toastmasters. She was there for me. She made sure I was still alive and kicking. But also was just there when things got tough during life. And it wasn't like, when are you back at Toastmasters? It was just take your time. Toastmasters not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We'll be there for you when you need us. And that's exactly what happened during the time when I lost my dad. It was that bereavement period. I took a year plus out, I think, of Toastmasters where I did nothing. I didn't want to do anything at all. But I got back into telling and sharing my journey, my story, how it affected my mental health. And all of that resilience and vulnerability was built through sharing at Toastmasters, because it was such a safe space for me to talk about my journey, but also my experiences and what I learned along the way. And that helped me facilitate what I'm doing now with the Man Cave, which is the men's mental health support group. And without all of that stuff that I did during Toastmasters, when I was doing my speeches and stuff, sharing my journey, I don't think I'd be able to do what I'm doing now for the Man Cave and doing their speaking and doing their webinars for like International Men's Day just yesterday and stuff like that, and getting paid and donations and all sorts for that kind of things. And it's giving back to the community. It's my way of giving back to the community of what I've learned and what I've achieved, because I wouldn't be able to do what I do now without Carla's support and everyone else in Toastmasters that I met along the way. Everyone has been a indirect mentor of mine. I get to learn from everyone who I meet, people who just show up for the first time, people who've been doing Toastmasters for decades. I get to learn from everyone, and it's such a blessing, because that opportunity sometimes isn't available for everyone, but it should be.
Yeah. But what's brilliant is, it's given the opportunity to hear your voice. You have an important voice. And as you said, you're doing great work with men's sheds. I mean, that's so important. And Toastmasters has helped release you into the world, similar to our other panelists. So that's wonderful. Well, we're coming to the end of what's been a wonderful session. I just want to share some lovely comments. So on your speeches, Jono, Elizabeth, so your story at the Division H contest where you shared your vulnerability was both touching and inspirational. So, you just one person hears you and it can change your life. So well done on that. And then Adele, I think Adele, she joined Ross Speakers in lockdown, and she's so blessed to have you in the club. Fantastic mentor. So Larry, you were talking about your mentor. You're also a mentor to members and offers experience to each club member. And well done, everyone, on your fine achievements. And I will second that. So it's been fun. I've been honored to be in your presence and hear your stories and your achievements and how important your voices are, not just outside Toastmasters. And Toastmasters has helped you do that. So I think our panelists tonight will convince anybody give it a try. Check it out. It's well worth going to. As I said, it's been a game changer for Jono, Larry, Marion, and all the many people behind the faces you've seen tonight. So we're at an end, but we are back in December. We mentioned during the episode there, I think it was Larry mentioned Ted Corcoran. We're having an up close and personal with Ted Corcoran. It's called TED Unplugged. So it'll be very exciting. He's a fun member. He's been celebrated 40 years as a Toastmaster. He's behind a lot of the pathways that Marion mentioned. He's behind all that. So do tune in for that. And we'll be having a second of our DTM series in January as well. We'll be meeting more people, inspirational people like our panelists tonight. So
can I just say one thing before I go? I would just like to thank the district team, because one thing that has to be said, I mean, I'm thinking of Elizabeth, Danny Banks and Brenda, all the people, Steve, that are there. They're always there for you. They might be, district directors, but they're there to help you as well. And I think that's always a huge help, like that you can ring any of these people or send them a message or whatever, and they'll come back to you too. So it comes from the top down.
Yeah, it's true. And they're great. I mean, and those names Marion mentioned, you get a message back almost momentarily, both within a few minutes, kind of, how can I help? It's amazing. It's a lovely feeling. As I said, you're celebrated, not tolerated, no matter what piece of the puzzle you're doing in Toastmasters. Yeah. So with that, I think we'll say goodnight. Anybody wants to shout a last minute? Larry?
Yeah, thanks very much, Olga. And it was great hearing the stories from Marion and Jono. And it's amazing the similarities that we went through on our journey to a DTM. And yes, anybody out there, go for it. And now what I would say is break it down into small pieces. Look at the criteria that's involved. Break it down into small chunks, and you will finally get to the top of Everest.
Brilliant. Thank you, Larry. And Jono?
Yeah, I'll do my last words would be say yes, freak out, and do it anyway. And that was the motto. That was the motto that I shared with everyone at the contest. That I think that's a motto that I've stuck with since I started Toastmasters. Is say yes, freak out, and just do it anyway.
And what a better way of finishing out I can't think of. So wonderful. And just a big shout out to Brian, who is in the background. And thank you so much. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Olga.
Thank you.